I tried those cute 5-minute ab workouts in my bedroom for years, desperate for a six pack, and they just didn't work for me. I still had these weak looking abs. It's only after I started training abs the way I do now that they really started to pop. Before I dive into what my ab training now entails, I should first say that your abs are only going to show if you're at a low enough body fat percentage. And I think most people already know that. But the common rhetoric is that there's no point training abs because they're only going to show if they're at a low enough body fat percentage. And that's just not true. It's not like we don't train chest or back because we think that our chest or our back muscles are only going to show if we're at a low enough body fat percentage. In fact, you can still be at a pretty low body fat percentage and have weak looking abs. So if you want a six pack that really pops, it is definitely worth training abs, just like you would train any other muscle group that you want to get bigger and more defined. Now, for full disclosure, I've made a video in the past saying that you don't need to train abs to get a six pack. And I still stand by what I said in that video. Essentially, I still think that if you're doing gym workouts with exercises where you're exposed to heavy weight, like heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, pull-ups, or rows, your core is being indirectly worked because it has to work in order to stabilize your body to perform that movement. That's especially the case when the weight that you're dealing with is very heavy. So I still believe that when you have those heavy movements in your routine, your abs are being indirectly trained. And for that reason, it can be a sufficient stimulus for your six pack to really pop. In fact, I used to train abs not really that often, and I still had quite a defined six pack, or four pack, if you will. And I believe that that was from all the indirect core training that I did through heavy squats and other exercises where I was exposed to heavy weight, where my core had to work to stabilize my body. But if you're at a stage where your body fat percentage is decently low, but your core doesn't really seem to pop out all that much, then it might be the case that your core just isn't sufficiently developed, in which case you would benefit significantly from some direct core training. So what is the best way to go about training your abs? Now, there are a heap of 5-minute style circuit ab workouts flooded across YouTube. I find it strange that they are promoted as the best way to go about training your abs. It's not like you do 5-minute circuit style training routines for your chest or for your back. So why are abs any different? Again, abs are just like any other muscle group in your body. So it doesn't make sense to train them in that way. Firstly, because these circuit style workouts go for 5 or 10 minutes at a time, it means that your cardio might actually be the limiting factor in you completing the workout. So let's say you're doing one of these 5-minute ab workouts, and maybe you get halfway through it and you stop because you're just too tired. Now, the reason that you might have stopped is actually because your cardio just wasn't good enough, rather than your ab strength being the limiting factor. What that means is that you can't actually train your abs sufficiently hard enough in order to get them to develop, because you're stopping the workout early because your cardio is actually just not good enough. Secondly, it's very hard to apply progressive overload to these circuit style workouts. Of course, a fundamental principle of training and developing muscle over time is that you need to be making your workouts harder, either through adding weight or reps. Now, it's very difficult to add more weight to an exercise like ab circles. How are you going to add weight to that exercise? The only variable you can really play with in these circuit style workouts is time. And you might want to add time to each exercise you're doing over time for your progressive overload. But after a while, that's just going to blow out of proportion. And you might be doing these circuit routines for 20, 30 minutes at a time. So it's not really the best choice of workout to do to apply progressive overload to. Thirdly, hypertrophy is best achieved through maximizing the amount of mechanical tension that you expose to a muscle. In other words, that means that your abs are going to develop the most from being exposed to heavy weight, which goes for all of your muscles in your body. So when you're doing all these different types of body weight exercises in these circuit style workouts, you're not maximizing the amount of mechanical tension you're placing on your abs, which is going to limit their development. The solution to this is to just train abs like you would any other muscle in your body. It means you should train abs in a way where you can easily progressively overload over time. And you should train abs in a way where mechanical tension is maximized. The two exercises that are my go-tos for ab training that hit all of these three boxes are hanging leg raises and cable crunches. The hanging leg raises target your lower abs, which are normally the most underdeveloped part of your core. So of course they're going to be a good one to do. You can begin doing them with a backrest. And then once that's too easy for you, you can get rid of the backrest and just do it hanging from the bar. Then when that gets too easy for you, you can put weight in between your legs and perform the movement that way. So you can easily add reps and weight over time. The cable crunches have similar benefits. You can easily add weight and reps over time, and you're actually exposing your abs to really heavy weight, which is going to maximize mechanical tension. The cable crunches target more of your upper to mid core. So by doing both hanging leg raises and cable crunches, you're taking your core through its full range of motion. And that is obviously going to be beneficial for your overall ab development. For both these exercises, you kind of do them in the same format that you would any other muscle group. You do a set of anywhere between 8 to 20 reps. And then after reaching failure or near failure, you rest for about 90 seconds. And then you perform the exercise and your next set again. Rather than doing this circuit style routine where your cardio can actually limit you from completing the workout, rather than it being your abs that are the reason for reaching failure or for stopping the workout early. After changing the way I trained abs from that circuit style routine to the more traditional sets and reps method of training, I've seen the best ab gains I ever have in my 5 years of training. So if you learned anything from this video or enjoyed it, please consider subscribing because we are getting to 4,000 subscribers soon. And as always, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you're doing for your ab training or whether you might be changing it in light of what I've just spoken about. That's all from me, and I'll see you later.